It is also evident from the long time of decisions referred to above that the courts in India have recognized the doctrine of proportionality as one of the ground for judicial review. Having said that, we need to remember that the quantum of punishment in disciplinary matters is something that rests primarily with the disciplinary authority. The jurisdiction of a writ court or the administrative tribunal, for that matter, is limited to find out whether the punishment is so outrageously disproportionate as to be suggestive of lack of good faith. What is clear is that while judicially reviewing an order of punishment imposed upon a delinquent employee, the writ court would not assume the role of an appellate authority. It would not impose a lesser punishment merely because it considers the same to be more reasonable than what the disciplinary authority has imposed. It is only in cases where the punishment is so disproportionate to the gravity of charge that no reasonable person placed in the position of the disciplinary authority could have imposed such a punishment that a writ court may step in to interfere with the same. The question is whether the present is indeed one such case where the High Court could and ought to have interfered with the sentence imposed upon the appellant on the doctrine of proportionality. Our answer is in the negative. The appellant was holding the rank of a major in the Indian Army at the time he committed the misconduct alleged and proved against him. As an officer of disciplined force like the army, he was expected to maintain the highest standard of honesty and conduct and forbear from doing anything that could be termed as becoming of anyone holding that rank and office. Making a false claim for payment of transport charges of household luggage and car to Chandigarh was a serious matter bordering on moral turpitude. Breach of the rule requiring him to clear his electricity dues upon his transfer from the place of his posting was also not credit-worthy for an officer. The competent authority was therefore justified in taking the view that the nature of the misconduct proved against the appellant called for a suitable punishment. Inasmuch as the punishment chosen was dismissal from service, the competent authority did not, in our opinion, take an outrageously absurd view of the matter. We need to remember that an officer holding the rank of major has to lead by example not only in the matter of his readiness to make the supreme sacrifice required of him in war or internal strife, but even in adherence to the principles of honesty, loyalty, and commitment. An officer cannot inspire those under his command to maintain the values of rectitude and to remain committed to duty if he himself is found lacking in that quality. Suffice it to say that any act on the part of an officer holding a commission in the Indian Army which is subversive of army discipline or high traditions of the army renders such person unfit to stay in the service of the nation's army, especially when the misconduct has compromised the values of patriotism, honesty, and selflessness, which values are too precious to be sacrificed on the altar of petty monetary gains obtained by dubious means. Stop.